Hey folks, this is video number 2 in this section. We're calling it section 2.2, or you could call it section 10.0, because it's the first chapter, the first section that we're doing in chapter 10. If you'll go down in the notes to the general form of the equation of a circle, you notice that in the gray box here, this is the general form of the equation. This is not something that you have to memorize, but you'll notice in the next 3 examples, you will be seeing the general form a good bit. So example number 3 says that we should find the center and the radius of the circle. And it gives us a hint that we should do this by completing the square. Now, hopefully you remember from previous math classes how to complete the square. And so this first question, I'm going to walk you through it, but if you need another video on completing the square, just text me or email me, and I will send you another video from a previous math class that walks you through a little bit more slowly. All right, so first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite my equation. I'm really not even going to do any math. I'm just going to rewrite my equation and spread things out a little bit. So you'll see here that I moved the 44, the constant, over to the right side, and I grouped the x's and the y's together and left some space so that I could complete the square. Now, here's a reminder of how to complete the square. In previous math classes, you would have probably only done this with one variable at a time. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take half of the b value. So half is going to be a positive 2. Then you're going to square that number to get a positive 4. And after you square that, then you're going to add it to both sides. Okay, so let's take this. Let me repeat that. And I'm going to basically have the exact same thing copied down. So for the x's, take half of the b, which is 2, square it, which is 4, add it to both sides. And then let's do the exact same thing with the y's. So you're going to take half of the b value, which is a negative 4. You're going to square that number, which is going to give you 16. And then you're going to add that to both sides. The next thing on the list is that you're going to factor each of the 2 trinomials. Now, there's a shortcut for factoring. So when you factor, let's just focus on the x's for a minute. When you factor, it's always, first of all, going to be a binomial squared. So I'm going to erase this here, but it's going to be a binomial raised to the second power. That's the first thing. The next thing is that keep your variable. So you're going to keep your x. And then whatever your half of b was is what is going to be the rest of the factor. So remember that the half of b on my x's was a positive 2. So you'll have an x plus 2 quantity squared. For the y's, remember that the half of b was a negative 4. So that's going to be the rest of my binomial there, y minus 4 quantity squared. And then lastly, combine your like terms over on the right-hand side. And so your 44 plus your 4 plus your 16 is going to equal 64. Now, notice this is the standard form of your equation. And the minute you have your standard form of the equation, you know that you've got your h and your k. And this is going to be your r squared. So then all I have to do is write down, because I was asked for the center and the radius. And so my center is going to occur at negative 2, 4. My radius is going to be at 8. Just a side note, remember that my formula says that this is x minus h quantity squared. So that's why it looks like a change in signs there. Same thing with this one. This one's y minus k quantity squared. So just be careful about that.